on the 12th of October, 1875, in Royal Leamington Spa, England, Edward Alexander Aleister Crowley would grow up to be one of the most controversial occultists of the 20th century. He described himself as a poet, novelist, mountaineer, painter, but above all, a magician and the founder of a new religious movement he called Thelema. This is the story of a man who defied Christian morality, embraced the occult, traveled the world, and left a legacy that still divides scholars, esotericists, and popular culture alike. In the age of empire and reason, there walked a man who defied both. He was called the Beast 666. To some, a prophet of liberation. To others, the wickedest man in the world. The man who sought to master will itself, and in doing so, became legend. Crowley was born into a wealthy brewing family. His father, Edward Crowley, had retired before his son was born, belonged to a strict Christian sect known as the Plymouth Brethren. Their days were filled with sermons, silence, and scripture. Raised in a strict evangelical Christian household, Crowley rebelled early. As a youth, he was sent to boarding schools that he despised. But young Aleister, even as a child, felt the cage of devotion closing around him. He questioned the God of his father. He saw hypocrisy in the piety around him. When his father died, Crowley inherited not just a fortune, but a void. He turned that void inward and found darkness, fascination, and freedom waiting. In 1895, he arrived at Trinity College, Cambridge, studying literature and philosophy. At Cambridge University, he pursued literature and philosophy, but his true studies were elsewhere, in the hidden corners of alchemy, mysticism, and forbidden knowledge. Though he left without a degree, meanwhile, his interests shifted from poetry and mountaineering to mysticism, alchemy, and the taboo. At university, he made his first mystical experience and began to turn away from conventional faith. It was here the seeds of his later identity were sown. The name Aleister, a Gaelic form of Alexander, adopted to reflect his new path. But Crowley's true transformation was yet to come. Into magic, into religion, into legend. In 1898, Crowley was initiated into the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn in London, the most influential occult society of Victorian England. He swore oaths beneath candlelight, studied the Kabbalah, invoked ancient spirits, and sought the secret flame of divine power. But within the order, he was not welcomed. His arrogance, his strange passions, and his refusal to obey tradition caused rifts with his peers, including the famed poet W.B. Yeats. Crowley's desires outgrew the boundaries of the Golden Dawn. In Boleskine House, his mansion by the misted shores of Loch Ness, he began performing rituals from the ancient book of Abramelin. Seeking contact with his holy guardian angel, he wrote, "I am possessed of the devil and of God." There, amid isolation and obsession, Crowley's legend began to take shape. He rented a flat in Chancery Lane, London, and invited his tutor, Alan Bennett, to live with him. Together, they explored alchemy, ritual magic, and the Goetia. In 1899, he purchased Boleskine House on the shore of Loch Ness, Scotland, and declared himself its laird. Yet he was already at odds with the Golden Dawn establishment. His bisexuality, libertine lifestyle, and ambition caused tensions. His next journey would take him beyond Britain to Mexico, India, Paris, where occultism merged with exploration, travel, mountaineering, and ego. Crowley and his wife, Rose Edith Kelly, arrived under the guise of nobility. In a small apartment, they began to perform rituals invoking ancient Egyptian deities. It was then, during one of these workings, that Rose entered a trance, whispering of a presence that awaited him. On April 8th, a voice, disembodied, commanding, spoke to Crowley. It named itself Iwas. For 3 days, he wrote down every word dictated to him. The result was a book, Liber Elve Legis, the Book of the Law. Its first commandment, do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law. Crowley declared that humanity had entered a new era, the Aeon of Horus, a time of self-realization and divine will. He believed himself the prophet of this new age. Others called him mad, but his faith was absolute, for he believed the gods had chosen him. The next decade was one of fire and movement. Crowley wandered across continents, Mexico, India, China, the Himalayas. He scaled perilous peaks, seeking to test his spirit against nature itself. Between 1905 and 1906, Crowley embarked on one of his boldest adventures, a climb of the Himalayan peak Kanchenjunga, considered one of the world's most dangerous mountains. Several of his companions died, a tragedy that followed him like a shadow. And after Porter's died in an accident, Crowley's reputation among mountaineers suffered. At the same time, his magical work advanced. Undeterred, he founded a new magical order, Argentum Astrum, the Silver Star, to spread the teachings of Thelema. He wrote The Equinox, his periodical of scientific illuminism, and refined his system of magic, spelled with a K, to distinguish true spiritual practice from illusion. Yet his growing fame came with infamy. The press branded him a Satanist, a sorcerer, a corrupter of youth. And Crowley, ever theatrical, wore these titles as crowns. He was not merely living a myth, he was creating one. In 1907, he and George Cecil Jones founded the occult order AA in London, aiming to propagate Thelema. Crowley also began publishing his periodical The Equinox and producing numerous holy books of Thelema. But controversy followed him. His libertine lifestyle, drug use, invocation of demonic entities, and sensational press coverage earned him the label, the wickedest man in the world. He embraced the reputation. For Crowley, the scandal was part of the magic. In 1920, Crowley established the commune known as the Abbey of Thelema in Cefalù, Sicily, envisioning a sanctuary where Thelemites would live in ritual, study, and freedom. The community experimented with sex magic, daily rites, and free lifestyle. Yet its conditions deteriorated. Drug addiction took hold, sanitation declined, and scandal erupted, particularly after the death of a young follower in 1923. Crowley returned to Tunisia, Paris, and London across the 1920s and 30s. He remained prolific in writing, painting, and magical work, though financially and physically, his decline was steep. During the Second World War, he spent his final years in England and died on the 1st of December, 1947, at the age of 72. By the end of his life, his influence had grown beyond occult circles, yet his personal life remained fraught with excess, illness, and myth. In the decades that followed, the world rediscovered him. His face appeared on the cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Musicians, artists, and mystics drew inspiration from his creed of personal will and freedom. His writings became sacred texts for the modern occult revival. Crowley's legacy is not simple. It is shadow and flame. He remains both prophet and pariah, magician and madman. The man who spoke with gods and taught that within each of us there burns a spark of the divine will. Love is the law, love under will. And perhaps that was his truest magic of all. Aleister Crowley remains a figure of fascination and controversy, a man who sought to unlock the secrets of will, magic, and human potential, while also navigating the dark waters of excess and scandal. His life challenges us. What is freedom? What is will? And at what cost do we pursue our truths? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more explorations of spirituality and divinity.